Hoennshy by Fenix. Chapter 3 Memories. Rainbow Dash awoke with a throbbing headache. She lay still for a moment in a daze as the reality of what happened now dawned on her. Feeling something heavy push her into the dirt, she screamed her way out from underneath. One hoof after the other, she got into a good point of leverage and shook the weight off her body, now free to stretch. She closed her eyes and spread her wings, taking away some of the pressure and aches her body felt for the trip. Sighing, she turned around and opened her eyes. Quickly, she stepped back in confusion and noticed an unconscious pink lump where she had laid. She trotted over and poked her with her hoof. "Pinkie Pie, did you really have to follow me here?" she asked, seeking to pose the pink pony. Sitting back, she took off her saddlebags and opened them for inspection. She carefully sifted through the contents, dreading if any broke from Pinkie falling on top of them or herself. Sighing relief after seeing nothing was harmed, she left Pinkie alone to sleep and looked around at her new surroundings. There were a lot more trees than she anticipated, especially after hearing how distraught Fluttershy was. Surely that would have been the reason, if any, she thought. Looking up, she noticed how oddly positioned and disorganized the clouds were, especially around a populated town. There were no Pegasi in the sky, taking care or placing the cumulonimbus cloud in the distance, nor any of the cumulus or arcus clouds. "That's weird. It's almost as if—" "Hey, Rainbow Dash!" Pinkie Pie yelled out in excitement, causing Rainbow to stagger forward in shock. Rainbow quickly turned around to see the pink pony already bouncing around as if nothing really happened. "You're finally awake. That's good, because you weren't when I found you, so I decided to continue sleeping while you had your little nap." Rainbow Dash groaned. Wait, you slept on me on purpose?" She shook her head. "Never mind that. Why did you follow me in?" "So you wouldn't be alone, silly," she continued, much to Rainbow's dismay. Sighing, Rainbow tried to find a sign or a clue as to where they were. Many earth ponies were about, seeming aloof to the entire situation. For reasons Rainbow couldn't comprehend, they were all wearing clothes, something almost never seen back in Equestria, except for higher class gatherings. They were almost fairly dully colored, a striking contrast to both her and Pinkie's bright color schemes. Upon closer inspection, they were wearing belts with strange red and white balls on them, followed closely by other unrecognizable animals. The houses were all earthy colors, with red roofs. None of them stood out as far as the normal ones normally seen in Ponyville. Two stood out to her, though. Two buildings with blue and red roofs, respectively, with a strange white symbol gathering in their fronts. "Hey, Pinkie Pie!" Rainbow called out. Pinkie stopped bouncing around, now paying attention to her friend. "She has to be as shaken up as I am. I mean, I can't be the only one," Rainbow assumed, but continued on her train of thought. "I'll go fly around, check out where we are. Think you could ask around, we'll see what town we're in?" "Okie dokie dokie," Pinkie confirmed, looking at Rainbow intensely with her hoof in a salute. She giggled before stopping and hopped around to start her search. Rainbow looked up at the sky, spreading her wings to start her ascent. With a bend of knees, she took off, soaring high enough to reach the start of the cloud line. She looked at them with a puzzled look, noticing the strange properties of the puffy cumulus clouds. They were much larger than the ones in Ponyville, as she could see straight through them. They only seemed to be composed of a light fog at most. Curious, she turned away from the cloud and bucked back as hard as she could. Her legs went straight through, causing her to stumble back from the lack of contact. She pulled them out and felt something trickle down her leg. She looked down at her legs and noticed drops of water dripping off her hind leg. "That's strange. That wasn't a rain cloud." Stunned, she quickly shook off her hooves and continued her ascent. Above the cumulus clouds, the thunderhead loomed in the distance. The sun shone brightly on the Pegasus' wings as he surveyed the area. Large expanses of water surrounded what seemed to be a multitude of islands. "Hey, she's on Sun and Moon! I thought this was Hoenn." She noticed a few mountains and volcano chains in the north, with no snow on their peaks. Rainbow started panting as a wave of humidity swept through the air from the eastern storm front, quickly tiring her out. Confident that she had everything she needed, she glided back down towards Pinkie, who was busy talking to an older gray mare. "Pinkie!" she called out, knocking Pinkie out of a string of rapid-fire questions. Her hooves safely now planted on one of the dirt roads, she trotted over. The older mare quickly broke off and looked as Rainbow grew closer. "Did you find out anything?" "Yeah, according to this lady we're in, what was it?" Pinkie caused to think. Oh, Bentleford Town. She closed her eyes and smiled. Rainbow scratched her head. Are you sure, Pinkie Pie? That sounds like a really weird name for a town. Oh, I'm completely sure, Pinkie stated confidently. Rainbow turned her head and noticed a sign near the eastern path out of town. It was just out of sight for her to read it, so she squinted her eyes and inched closer. Only a few steps to came into focus. Printed in black type was, "You're now leaving Peterborough Town, entering Route 102 to Oldale Town." She thought her head upright and turned to Pinkie, who was still smiling her somewhat dumbly smile. Pinkie Pie, the name of this town on that sign over there, she said, pointing to the boldly printed sign. That's weird. I must have missed it, she said, her smile fading into her thoughtful gaze. Did you at least find out something about Fluttershy? Rainbow began pacing, shaking out the humidity. I mean, did you at least ask? Not too much. Some boy told me he saw a yellow Pegasus flying to the east last night, but that could have been any pony, Pinkie said, gazing east, seeming trying to point down in that direction. Rainbow followed her cue and turned her head. Well, if that's all we got so far, I say we go for it. If she were here, we would have seen her already. She turned to Pinkie with a confident gaze. All right, I'll fly up and check it out. You search underground, and we'll be in the next town over. Got it? Got it! Pinkie exclaimed. Then hustling off top into the forest, Rainbow spread her wings and rocketed into the air, trying to keep the humidity out of her mind. She turned with a westerly wind and began her search. Fluttershy jolted a wink, panting with a piercing headache. She sighed, letting the warmth of the morning sun warm her coat and calm her down. Placing her hoof on her forehead, she tried to elevate the headache her dream must have caused. But something felt off to her. She took her hoof off her hand and looked at it, her eyes widening to see. It was pink and fleshy, with 5 appendages jutting in from the outside. It was clothed with green fingerless gloves and with a white collar. Her breathing became heavier and heavier as she stared. She blinked. Her hoof reappeared where the hand once was. After breathing a sigh of relief, she lay back down into the grass and looked up into the forest's canopy. The yellow light of the sun created a halo of light surrounding the trees. Fluttershy had seen this many times, but it seemed to be dancing with the color that morning. A light western wind blew through her hair, letting her mind work out the already frantic morning. Beside her, she heard a small rustle in the grass. She turned her head and noticed Alice was still sleeping underneath her blanket. Oh, how could I have forgotten about Alice? Fluttershy thought. She lifted her hoof and tightened allowed to land the blanket. Time to wake up. It's brand new. She paused. That's strange. She tapped the blanket once more, feeling a hard shell underneath. Confused, she grabbed the blanket with her teeth and lifted it slowly. Rays of light illuminated the creature, making Fluttershy take a step back as she tore the blanket off. In Alice's place was a small green turtle with a yellow underbelly and its hard brown and black striped shell lying on its back. Its hard two-leaved sprout made its place at the top of its head. Fluttershy slowly crossed over to investigate. Alice? Is that you? The turtle's eyes slowly opened. It turned its head to Fluttershy and smiled at her. Tchee! It let out, standing closer to the timid Pegasus. Raised its right foreleg and started rubbing its head against her hide. Ow, oh, no, Turtwig, Dorble, no! She looked down and smiled. Oh, yes, it must be him. At that moment, her stomach began to rumble violently. Glancing at her taint noticed. Well, hectic yesterday was. I must have forgotten to get us food. She said arrogantly to herself. Is teasing species like that normal? She thought to herself, but quickly passed it off. It's something she must have forgotten during the truck ride over. Come on, let's get some food, she said, scooping up arrows into the blanket and placed them on her back, facing away from the rising sun. As she made her way through the new set of dirt roads, opting not to fly with her new, more bulky and fragile friend. The path was very similar to the two she had already been down, but she saw many more ponies walking around with their Pokemon. She planned to walk through unnoticed. The last encounter she had with a Pokemon wasn't pleasant. A dark blue pony in the distance with a striped ferret, balanced a wild animal. She was shocked, trying to slip by as she was distracted. Hoping that even with her less functional camouflage she wouldn't be seen, but she jumped back as Philly cried out, Hey, you with the Turtwig! Fluttershy looked away and continued walking at bay. Hey, I'm talking to you! Let's see why that Turtwig is fight! Meow! The Philly continued to shout. Fluttershy turned to the Philly. I'm sorry, I don't fight. The Philly stood dumbfounded. She huffed and trotted away, continued with her hunt. Fluttershy made sure to avoid every other encounter along the way, dancing into the shrubbery and flunking over to face out with view. Slowly but surely, she made her way through the forest on a path straight way towards Peelberg Town. Wouldn't that be an interesting mechanic for another Pokemon game? The ability to say no to trainer battles. The sun was reaching the apex of the sky as the humidity grew denser. Fluttershy turned her head back to see how far she had gone. Oldale Town was nowhere in sight. Looking ahead, there wasn't a single pony to be found. She breathed a sigh of relief and then lied down. The lack of food made her trip at Drussus, making her dig through the provisions her mother had given her. A few crackers in a plastic bag were stuffed to the bottom, as well as a small flask. She screwed the top and took a sip. After realizing it was water, she guzzled down, only paused to breathe and give some to Auris. After the canteen seemed to be half empty, she sat back in her bag and closed her eyes to think. The whole world seemed to be spinning for her, as the events of the past few days still hung in the forefront of her thoughts. Whenever she tried to think of what happened before the ride in the truck, she couldn't recall a single memory. It was her life starting in that pitch-black room. She buried her head in her hose, exhausted and confused. Ever since she woke up, she felt there was something always amiss, something she couldn't put her hoof on. Again, I'm getting nervous. What if Fluttershy is actually a Twitch-Plays Pokemon? At that point, all Fluttershy could hear was sounds of up, up, down, 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 left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right. No. Auris began to call out towards the west. Fluttershy popped her head from her hooves and looked to the distance. She squinted, noticing something pink and bouncing steadily towards her. She slowly rose up, readying herself to get out of the way before she found herself being hounded for another fight. A sharp pain jolted through her knees as she stood, making it hard to get up. One hoof after the other, she finally got up, but her knees shook, causing her to be planted where she stood. She started panting with worry, watching the bouncing pink object come closer. Stepping one hoof forward, she broke her stable footing, yet fell face first into the dirt from the pain. When she finally got her head off the ground, the pink pony was standing right above her, giving her a strange yet familiar look.
Hey, Fluttershy! What are you doing playing in the dirt?
The filly asked, hopping around Fluttershy.
Fluttershy?
She thought. The name sounded oddly familiar to her, but passed it off as nothing.
I'm sorry, you have the wrong pony,
she said, hoping this would cause the pony to leave her alone.
Don't be silly! Of course I had the right pony!
She took an alarmed gasp.
Oh, I know! You're playing a game, aren't you? I didn't know you were being such a good game player. Fluttershy, what are we playing? Don't tell me. Let me guess. Oh, ponies and griffins! Or... No, please stop. I'm not trying to play anything. Just don't make me fight you. Please.
Fluttershy played. What's wrong with her? Why is she so brightly colored and naked?
Fine. I know you don't fight. What kind of friend would I be not to know that? How could I have found you so quickly? We were so worried back at Twilight, so we had to come find you. I still don't know what you're talking about. My name's May, not Fluttershy.
She responded, causing the pink pony to slow down.
Excuse me, but I have to get going.
She hobbled back to her hose and dug down enough to start moving. She slowly made her way past the pony, but she could already see her starting to follow.
Please, leave me alone,
she squeaked, moving as fast as her hose could take her.
Fluttershy, are you running? It's me, Pinkie Pie.
The name hit Fluttershy like a ton of bricks, but she kept going. Pinkie Pie seemed so familiar to her, as did the name Fluttershy, but it hurt to think about it. She just kept running in the hopes of finding somewhere to sort things out in peace. A few hundred yards of chase left her even more exhausted. She turned her head to see if the pink pony had stopped her chase, before feeling something slam in the back of her head. She bowled over, sending Arliss flying into the tall grass. Dizzy, she tried to get back up, but her vision started to double and wobble. She tried to shake it off, but her mental and physical exhaustion was too much.
What's sighing about?
Was all she heard before she collapsed into unconscious. Incomprehensible noises began to make their way to Fluttershy's ears, as she felt herself becoming conscious once more. Her eyes slowly opened to see a blue Pegasus with rainbow-colored hair looking down at her. Fluttershy quietly grunted, exerting all her effort to get up. Oddly, her knees weren't shaking like they were before, and her hunger and thirst seemed to be less of an issue.
Fluttershy, you're awake!
Finally, the Pegasus said, but cool. Sorry for bumping into you earlier. I must have been going faster than I thought and wasn't paying attention. Fluttershy, Fenix embraced Fluttershy and tug hug. We're backing off once more.
You have no idea about how worried about you we were. It's quite alright.
She whispered, overwhelmed by the Pegasus' presence.
If you would excuse me, I need to get to Peelbark Town.
The Pegasus looked at her with a skewed look.
Fluttershy, are you alright? You sound kinda off. No, she did that to me when I found her. I think she's just playing a game or something.
Piggy answered the Pegasus.
I'm not playing a game.
Fluttershy tried to yell, wings open, but shrunk back and folded.
Just say you want to fight so you can leave me alone afterwards.
She squeaked, trying to shake her followers.
My name isn't Fluttershy, it's May.
The Pegasus groaned.
Alright, fine. You're not Fluttershy. I'll let you play your game, she said, trying closer. My name's Rainbow Dash. How are you?
She groaned even louder.
Man, why am I even doing this?
Fluttershy stepped back into defensive position. Rainbow Dash. The name stuck out to her, more so than Pinkie Pie's.
Wait, Rainbow Dash? Where have I heard that name before?
She lifted both hooves to her face, trying to recall the pony's name.
Oh, how could I forgotten her name?
She started to shake, all the stress of the day's events rushing through her.
Did I really forget her name? No, it's a stress. What would Rainbow Dash do?
She let out a small scream. Her head felt like it was split into two visions. Voices and events furiously flashed through her head. She saw a city in the clouds. Clouds that could be moved by colorful Pegasi.
Fluttershy, are you okay?
She could feel herself falling from the sky into a pack of butterflies. The explosion of the sonic rainbow blasted her eardrums. The joy of gaining her cutie mark filled her with glee.
Piggy, help me out over here. She's just collapsing. She's not breathing.
She saw Ponyville. Her cottage where sick animals were cared for, laid to rest in their beds. The day she opened up to Twilight, facing down to Manticore and the black mare named Nightmare Moon. And all filled her vision as clear as day. Tears formed her eyes as she touched her hand to her chest.
Wake up! Come on, we didn't come all the way out here for you to quit on us!
She could feel her bunny angel, dumping his foot into her leg. Her stare down on a giant dragon on a mountain top. Princess Celestia's Fenix, Philomena, turning to ash in her hands. Everything. Turning spurred down her cheeks as she let out one final scream. Her mind finally went blank, causing her vision to fade to black. First I woke without breath, but finally stabilized. She violently shook her head and forced her eyes open. Her breath sharply stopped as the world around her seemed brighter, sounds coming to her clearer and crisper. Slowly, her breathing stabilized as a smile lit across her face. She looked Rainbow Dash and Pinkie Pie. We're looking to each other with great relief.
Sorry for scaring you. I've had a rough few days. Are you alright, Fluttershy? Do you recognize me?
Dash asked, her wings open in a defensive position.
Oh yes, both you and Pinkie Pie.
Fluttershy responded as she shifted her forehoof. Her ears perked up.
So, why did you go all crazy on us? Missed us out too much, alright?
Rainbow Dash asked, lightly patting Fluttershy's back, causing a small
ow
escape the friends out of Pegasus' mouth.
Come on, we'll help you with whatever you were doing. We aren't too far off from Peelberg, I think.
She caught her mistake a groan.
Ugh, whatever. Tell us what happened back there.
Fluttershy lowered her head, going over everything that happened. Two strings of memories fought for attention in her mind, but she was able to separate the two even with her fading energy.
I'll talk about it after I get some food. I'm so hungry,
She said, looking around for where Alice went out. Alice popped his head from the tall grass and ran as fast as he could toward the Fluttershy. He stopped, looking at the two ponies smiling.
Did we? I guess he likes you too. Great! Now we don't have to introduce ourselves.
Pinkie Pie responded gleefully, started hopping down the path to Peelberg.
So, what's with the turtle? I mean, I wouldn't put it past you immediately started talking to animals when you got here.
Rainbow Dash joked, glancing over to Alice.
He's a turtling, I guess.
Fluttershy explained.
At least that's what those other ponies I passed called him. I never actually got a chance to check.
They continued on with Peelberg Town, drawing closer and closer. They saw red rooftops in the distance, faint silhouettes of ponies with Pokemon trotting around, conversing with one another. Pinkie Pie already had arrived at the edge of town, seemingly looking around for a place to eat some food. The rest of the trip was rather quiet. Neither a pony wanting to waste Fluttershy's breath before she even got into town. Details of the town showed themselves to Fluttershy, wobbly legs working frantically to get her over.
Over here! I found something!
Pinkie Pie sighed, hopping slowly towards a building in the middle of town. After a few more yards, the trail came to a stop, merging into the dirt roads of town.
Come on, we're coming, Pinkie Pie. Just hold on.
Rainbow Dash yelled, continuing to watch over Fluttershy.
Almost there. Just a little more.
Fluttershy took her first step into Peelberg relief.
Thanks, Rainbow.
She was cut off by a loud ringing coming from behind her. She jumped in shock with Oliver's falling suit, and looking behind her, seeing nothing but her backpack.
What's going on? What's that sound coming from my backpack?
Well, I don't have anything on me that would make noise, so it must be from you, Rainbow responded. While beginning to rummage through Fluttershy's bag, she grabbed the Pokedex with her teeth and felt it vibrating. She said, the flat casing still in her mouth. She set it down and studied it, a light blue light on the Pokedex's side blinking.
I think you open it like this,
Fluttershy said as he pushed the button near the top of the device, causing the front flap to flip open. It revealed a small screen with a set of speakers. The beeping stopped before a strange, monotone voice began to play from it. Trainer 78342. Shy. You have a gym fight at Peterburg Gym scheduled for 9:30 p.m. tonight. Reminder: fail to show up at your scheduled time is grounds for disqualification in the Hoenn League, and you must wait 3 days to appeal your case. I'm going to take a moment here and say that this is one of the things that attracted me most to this whole entire fic, was this very idea of the gyms holding up a special type of appointment, because it kind of makes sense to me, really. It's a great bit of world building. I mean, think about it. In the Pokemon games, you could traditionally just go up into the gym and just walk in. Now, think about that in real life. Think of how many trainers want to get into the Hoenn League, or the type of league matches to face off against the Elite Four. And think about how many times somebody goes in. What happens when they go through it? I mean, so many other people could possibly be going in, and you would get a whole crowd of people busting in. What if they set up appointments? Especially if they're the type of people who have other type of trainers with them. The Pokedex beeped once more and the message stopped. Both of the Pegasi looked at each other confused.
Wait, is this what that fighting thing was all about?
Rainbow asked, breaking the silence.
A league? Is it a league for fighting Pokemon?
First I wondered, starting to think about that prospect.
That sounds so awesome!
Rainbow yelled out, shocking Fluttershy.
A whole competitive league set up with automated messages whenever he towns? I have got to come watch this. Can we just get some food, please?
Fluttershy demanded, trying to break Rainbow's train of thought.
Oh, right,
Rainbow said. They continued on in silence to the building that Pinkie was waiting by. Small twinges of pain coursed through Fluttershy's head. She ran through the memories of the girl roughly, but couldn't find the answer why the pain suddenly re-emerged. She decided to let it go and try not to pay any attention to anything until she had something more filling than apple slices and wire.
By the way, you might want to clean up a bit first. When you were knocked out, we tried carrying you to town, but we gotta drag you a bit.
First I ignored the comment and caught up to Pinkie Pie.
They're both naked and I'm covered in dirt. I guess.
She looked down at her torso, seeing small grass seeds and dirt patches covering her orange vest.
Well, I won't be out of place when I'm with them at least.
The building Pinkie was waiting by was a red hoof building like all the others, but had an outside terrace with iron-laced tables and chairs with small cushions. Many a pony were dining on exotic fruits and grains, neither of them the equestrians had ever seen. The stallion exited the building and cleared his throat, grabbing the attention of the three. He looked down with a confused sneer, gave out a slight slide before approaching the three.
Are you madams waiting for a table? We have no wait time this afternoon.
Oh, great.
Flashlight said severely, tried over to the nearest empty table to sit down.
How about here? If that's fine with you girls.
She called, hoping he went in a jet.
Looks fine,
Rainbow commented, flying over to sit next to her friend. Pinkie Pie followed suit.
So, you got any money in that bag you got there?
Flashlight paused for a moment, and then quickly rummaged through her bag. Alice hopped off, letting her check every nook and cranny. Before long, she stumbled on a small bag that jingled and sounded metal.
This must be it. I knew there would be some in here.
He took the bag and placed it on the table, twisting the tie to get it open. Alice climbed back on top of the bag and waited patiently for his food.
Twink. Twink. So, who gave you that anyway?
Flared Rainbow pried as the wire brought the 3 menus.
A mare who is, I guess, supposed to be my mother.
Fluttershy said, scanning a menu.
I woke back up in the back of a moving truck as she started talking to me as if I were her daughter. Ooh, now you have a citrus berry medley. That sounds tasty.
Pinky sprouted, then looked up at the 2 Pegasus.
So, you were talking about your trip here? Keep talking, I want to hear more. That does sound pretty good.
Fluttershy responded.
Anyway, she brought me into the house that the truck was in front of. Initially I refused, but she dragged me in. I really think that police believed me to be this May girl.
She continued browsing as Rainbow and Pinky listened attentively.
Every time I did something that my new memories were telling me I shouldn't do, I always felt a slight pain in my head. I thought I was small, but gradually became worse, especially when I refused to fight that cult.
Rainbow Dash interrupted.
Wait, a cult? Why wouldn't you fight you? To be honest, I'm not sure. Maybe it has something to do with the link that my device talked about earlier.
Glasses of water were delivered to their table. Fluttershy stirred around the ice in the glass as they continued.
Also, you didn't want to fight me, but Horace, who I got from Nicole's father. He seemed ready to fight, but I just couldn't. During the middle of that crisis when Twilight counted me, that's probably why I sounded like I was in danger. Wait, your turtle was ready to fight, like, without being provoked?
Rainbow asked, sipping her water.
Maybe that's how they play. You must love roughhousing,
Pinky added. You know, that's the one thing I always gotta complain when people talk about Pokemon being cockfights, or, oh, you're forcing your little bitty animals to fight each other to the death. First off, 1. Pokemon don't die when they fight. They merely faint. You don't kill a Pokemon in battle, they merely faint. Pokemon either die by old age, getting shot, or, natural causes. In a battle, they're just getting knocked out. It's like hitting 0 HP in a D&D game. You're only knocked out and you need to wait a while to get back up. Second, it has been routinely mentioned time and time again. Pokemon like to fight. They like to wrestle. They like to rumble. They like seeing who is stronger. Hell, they only respect you if you're a strong trainer because they want to become better people. They want to become better Pokemon. And they realize that the only way they get to do that is by trainers. It is a mutual thing. Thank you. This has been your commentary about Pokemon. Pokemon, please join me next time when I get to the next chapter. First, I got down at Alice. Thinking back to last night.
Maybe.
She turned her attention back to Pinky and Rainbow.
What did you two get here? Well, Twilight was asleep for a few days before she woke up and sent us here,
Pinky said, looking around trying to find a way.
Is she okay? Oh yeah, she was just tired, that's all. Anyway, we arrived this morning. Daisy wasn't up right away, so... They both arrived this morning. Maybe. No, I don't know anything about this world yet. It's just a coincidence, that's all.
Fluttershy thought, trying to piece together the day's events. She looked down both, and then glanced down at Alice.
You know Alice here? He was a gecko yesterday.
Rainbow Dash looked at Fluttershy with a hint of skepticism, as Pinky set down her menu, looking at Fluttershy with a sense of wonder.
That can't happen. You know that,
Rainbow said matter-of-factly. The waiter approached the table, interrupting the three's talk and took their orders. Their ponies scribbled down their requests and left, leaving the three to continue. The community dropped as the sun began arching down towards the horizon.
It's true. When I woke up this morning, Alice had become a turtle. Surprising to say the least.
She sipped some more water and continued.
Anyway, what's happening in Ponyville? What did you risk coming to get me?
She couldn't imagine why it took her so long to ask.
Recently, it was just me and my dad who volunteered to get sent by Twilight, saying something like, I don't want to leave my bestest friend behind.
Pinky opened with a mocking tone.
Hey!
Rainbow shouted, staring at Pinky.
Pinky didn't giggle. Sorry, Rainbow. Anyway, Twilight said that she's seen the book at Caroline's library, so the rest of the girls are going to go there and find the missing spell pieces.
First, I covered her mouth and squeaked a little at the news.
Twilight doesn't have the spell to bring us back. We're stuck here until she finds it. Don't worry,
Rainbow said, kicking her legs on the table.
I'm sure she'll find it in no time. So why don't we just relax while we're here and enjoy ourselves? Yes, but my animals. Hmm, it'll be fun. Besides, we can see how this lake thing goes.
Pinky interrupted, eyeing the waiter coming in with plates full of food. She sharply gasped.
Fifth here. Let's dig in.
The waiter rolled his eyes and cited Pinky's enthusiasm. She set the plates down in front of them. Fluttershy had never seen food like this before. A normal and field of ponytails seemed plain in comparison. The salad was filled with bright yellow, red, blue, and orange fruits of all different shapes. The lettuce, a color just dark green, was drizzled with what appeared to be a red vinaigrette, with a multitude of variable herbs and spices. Fluttershy immediately started digging into it, trying to savor every bite. Ravenous hunger depleting, she nearly forgot about Alice, whose small meal was still on the table.
Oh, I'm sorry, Alice.
Fluttershy apologized softly, grabbing the plate and setting it on the ground near the hungry turtwig. The instant the plate touched the ground, Turtwig started chowing down. Fluttershy smiled, rose up to finish her meal, taking a little shout of solace before the moon rose on their inevitable fight. Overgrown, Twilight blocked the light that was shining in her eyes with her hoof and sat up. She had been brought to her bed again, as she noticed before lifting off her bed sheets. She opened her eyes and checked the mirror. Her hair was a mess, but she expected that. Using her horn, she magically grabbed a hairbrush and started her morning routine. Her left ear perked when the murmurs coming from downstairs. With striking efficiency, she finished her routine and slowly trotted downstairs, still groggy in her sleep. She looked around the library's main room and saw Applejack, Rarity, and Spike tossing amongst themselves. Aloysius, her owl, was resting on his perch near the window, sleeping from a long night's patrol of the home. Applejack looked up at Twilight and called out, "Look who's foul awake!"
Hey, girls. Hi, Spike. How long was I out? Did everything go all right? You're only out for tonight, and it was perfectly, darling,
Rarity answered, flipping her mane.
I must say the light show was much better inside than my boutique.
Twilight puzzled, looking at the three. "Where's Pinky? Is she back at Sugar Cube Corner?" Rarity and Applejack looked at each other, worried.
Twa?
Pinky was whisked off of Rainbow.
What?
Twilight's eyes shrunk with shock and terror struck over her.
Oh, no, this is bad. She began to pace. I don't even know what the spell I used was right deviation, and I only know it works on one pony. What if sending over two screws over everything up? I might have killed my two friends.
Twilight buried her head in her hose, trying to go everything in her head again.
Why did I even do this?
Well, Rainbow's confidence goes off quite easily. Don't worry about it, Twi. I'm sure with Rainbow's stubbornness, they'll find a way to survive. Besides, we need you to be at your best when we go find that spell, Applejack reassured her. Twilight brought her head up. You're right. I need to go write to Princess Celestia about getting to the Royal Archives. She felt her stumble wrinkle as she spoke. Ugh, I need to get some food before we plan anything. I've got used to cover, Sugar Cube, Applejack proudly stated, drawing over to a bushel full of apples near Twilight's reading stand, and tossed some over to Twilight.
Thanks, Applejack,
Twilight said, biting down on one of the large red apples. All right, I need to write a letter to the princess to request access to the Royal Library. In the meantime, I need you two to get at least enough supplies for a day's trip. I'll meet you outside near the main road of town when I'm ready. Why not just like the trolling?
because this is more adventurous.
You gotta try, Applejack said, making her way out of the library and back to her home in Sweet Apple Acres.
I'll be sure to pack for everything,
Verity stated, walking out the door.
Make sure you don't overpack,
Twilight yelled, just getting her message out, before she heard the loud thud of a wooden door closing. She sighed and turned to Spike, who had already taken out an empty scroll, relaying her message. Good. Now take a note. Spike started writing out her message.
Dear Princess Celestia, I'm writing you to request access to the Royal Archives at Camelot. My studies have brought me to a dead end. This is a book I have been using as incomplete. My study is of the utmost importance, and imperative that I finish my research on this spell as quickly as possible. My friend's safety hinges on the information in the complete copies of Professor Archon Griswold's tests, and I do not wish to endanger their livelihoods. I urgently await your answer. Your faithful student, Twilight Sparkle. With that, Spike rolled up the scroll and blew fire on it, turning it into a purple mist that flew out the open window. Twilight went back upstairs and grabbed a pair of saddlebags with a purple six-pointed star stitched on its front and slipped it on. After getting the snap snug, she met up again with Spike, who was holding another scroll. She responded really quickly this time, Spike said, preparing to read it. My faithful student Twilight. Of course you can use the Royal Library. You are my student, after all.
Make sure you see me once you arrive, Spike stopped. She doesn't sound too worried to me. You know the princess, Twilight said with a smile as she stuffed apples, a small flask of water, and some blankets into her bags. She's probably just confident in my ability, and trusts me I can take things taken care of. With her bags back, she turned to Spike. Spike, could you take care of Fluttershy's animals with Mrs. King and the Christmas ears while I'm away? You know what happened last time, Twilight? Spike returned, shrugging his shoulders. I guess it couldn't happen before I get hurt. Great. Just make sure you lock up before you leave, Twilight reminded him. I'll bring the front door. I should be gone for more than 2 days. If anything does happen, I'll write you a letter, alright? Good luck! Spike called out as Twilight left the house. They heard a small hoot and a policy coming from inside. She laughed and headed towards the eastern path out of town. The sky was covered with thick overcast, and a cool wind pierced Twilight's coat. She sat waiting patiently for the other to arrive. Taking a pink and white scarf out from her bag and wrapping it around her neck, she readied herself for the three's journey to Canterlot.